Hello, my name is Yeji, otherwise known as ANdmadeco, here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today is a special episode because I want to go over all the shops that I visited. I visited 8 for the Puget Sound LYS Tour of 2025 and my experience at each of them. We are in a different location today, a little more informal. As you can see, my bed, I'm sitting on my bed because we are rapidly losing sunlight. We didn't really have any today. It's pretty gloomy. It's a rainy day, but I wanted to film this. I know that the yarn tour is still going on until the 18th. Currently it's the 17th, so it's Saturday, but I handed in my passport, or I handed in the entry form to it because I know we wouldn't be able to get to any tomorrow. So I wanted to let you know of my experiences before I forget about it. To start off with, I'm wearing the Brunch Crew by Michelle Frazetta, and this is a pattern that was launched during the Puget Sound LYS Tour. So it launched on Wednesday. You can buy it on Michelle's Ravelry page. And so I'll definitely have it linked below. And I'll get into more about all of that. And this is a merch bag that I bought prior to the tour, and I've shown it before. What happens is there are 25 shops in this local area that are participating in the tour, and the ultimate goal is to visit all 25 of them and get your passport stamped. So you can pick up this at your local yarn store, or you can just download a PDF and print it out. And for each of the shops you visit, they put a stamp or a sticker on it to verify that you've been to that shop. And then in this portion, there is an entry form so if you visit 8 shops or 16 or 25, all 25, you are put into different raffles where you can win gift cards. So I will start off with the first shop I visited, which is the Tea Cozy. With me talking, I will also overlay a B-roll clip of some of the shops so you can get a better sense and a feel of what they might look like inside. First, we have Tea Cozy Yarn Shop, and it is my local, the closest to me yarn shop. And so I visited on Wednesday after my husband got home from work and I had the car. And so I visited on the 14th and picked up my passport at Tea Cozy Yarn Shop. When you first go to Tea Cozy Yarn Shop, at the front of the store, you see a little free library. A lot of the times it's filled with books, some yarn in it. And I've personally also put yarn in it and also taken yarn from it. So it's a really great resource to have. If you are in the area, I definitely recommend checking it out. And when you step in the shop, it is quite open. So you see a lot of the yarn. The yarn is organized from the lightest weight until bulky and super chunky yarn. And with the Puget Sound LYS Tour, each store was required to create an original knit pattern and an original crochet pattern. And by visiting the stores, you were able to receive these patterns for free. So Tea Cozy Yarn Shop for this year had the EO slipover that I've also test knit, and that was the knit pattern for the year. And then the crochet pattern was a fish pouch, which is super cute, and I definitely would love to be able to crochet it one of these days. Each store also had specific yarn that was on a 10% special discount, and for Tea Cozy Yarn Shop, it was the Kelburn Woolens Mojave, Kelburn Woolens Scout, as well as Hedgehog Fibers DK, and I think it was a Merino. And for each of these yarns, it was 10% off, and I know that the Tea Cozy Yarn Shop is also offering the same discount online if you purchase online. So you have until Sunday, May 18th to purchase these yarns at a 10% discount if you are interested through the website. And I will put all of the links in the description. There are links from the LYS Tour page of Ravelry patterns for all of the shops that participated. And so I'll have that Ravelry link, and I will also have the specific yarn link, if I can find it, of the yarns that I got at each of these shops. I love how bright Tea Cozy is, and because it is my local yarn store, I know exactly what yarns are new and what yarns are available. I love how Emily has displayed the yarns, and especially the yarns that were featured were all up at the front, and it was so beautiful. It's always very colorful at the store. Tea Cozy Yarn Shop carries Kelburn Woolen, Sandus Garn. They have a lot of sweater quantities, which I really appreciate as a garment knitter. So you are able to find the same dye lot and the color that you may want. And at Tea Cozy, I picked up these Knit Pro wool needles, and these are the ones with the loops and the needles. I wanted to try these, especially because I keep losing my tapestry needles. And also I picked up 4 skeins of Mojave. So this is a yarn that I've used before. It's a yarn that I've used for my EO slipover. I picked up 2 bright yellows, and this is 60% cotton, 40% linen, 50 grams and 185 yards. So this would give me 370 yards. And I also picked up 2 in Dandelion. So this is also 370 yards combined. And I'm planning on making the Anjo tank, hopefully, by Skinny Dip and Alex from it. And so I'm hoping to pair these together in that tank. Then on Thursday, I didn't go to any yarn stores because my husband had the car and he was busy that day. But on Friday, he took the day off, and so I took care of my nephew until noon. I dropped him off at home, and with my baby, my 1-year-old, and my toddler, my 3-year-old, we got on the ferry to Bainbridge Island and visited La Mercerie. And I'm not sure if you're interested in costs, but the cost of going to Bainbridge on the ferry with a vehicle was $33 because I was a passenger and my husband was the adult driver. And for kids under 19, it's free. And then coming back from Bainbridge to Seattle on the ferry, you don't have to pay for the passenger, but you still have to pay for the vehicle and the person in the vehicle, so that was $23. The pattern at La Mercerie were these two. This is a sweater with colorwork tulips on it and also some crocheted flowers. And La Mercerie has moved to a new location, so it's where Church Mouse Yarns used to be. It's very central. If you get off the ferry, I think you can walk there in 10 minutes. It's a very, very quick drive. It's right on the main road. And when you step in the store, it's like stepping in Anthropologie or a cleaner version of it's like stepping in a Banana Republic. It's like stepping in a really clean clothing store because you see all of these yarns that are displayed really nicely. It's very big, it's very open. And the yarn that was on special discount at La Mercerie was Knitting for Olive Merino and Heavy Merino, which is what the knit tulip sweater was designed in. And so I decided to pick up 5 balls of the Knitting for Olive Merino. I'm not sure what I'm going to be making with this, but this is called Sky/Cloud. And it's an off-white, and I thought that 5 would be perfect for me if I decided to do color work or if I decided to just hold a separate. This will give me 1,250 meters, and it was on 10% discount, so I thought that it was the perfect opportunity to pick it up. And from what I know, La Mercerie is the flagship US store for Knitting for Olive, so they have all of their bases, all of their colors. They also have all of the Derarum Natura as well as Biche Bouche. So if you are interested in these brands, then I would definitely go check it out. And I would say that Bainbridge is very fun to be. It's an island and there are a lot of shops on that main road, so you don't even need to step out of that main road and you can still explore what Bainbridge has to offer. For us personally, we took the ferry there and then we wanted to hit up other stores, so we took the ferry right back, I think within that same hour. The ferry goes every hour because it is a 30-minute ride one way. So we got on the ferry and I think we took the 12:30 ferry to Bainbridge, and from Bainbridge we took the 1:30 ferry back to Seattle. One day I would love to go to Bainbridge and spend more time on Bainbridge Island and also just spend time at the store because the store is so beautiful and there are chairs and tables outside for people to sit in and knit, and it just seemed like a really welcoming space. From Bainbridge, we went to West Seattle, so we took the ferry back and then we went on the highway and then we decided to go to West Seattle. And Seattle Yarn is home to West Seattle, and these are the stickers. Every shop gives you a sticker. I've lost a lot of them, but I have 2 of the Seattle Yarn ones because my daughter was with me and she kept getting stickers from these places. And Seattle Yarn is more of a crafting type of shop where they have a lot of embroidery floss as well. And so if you are interested in that as well, then maybe, and you are in the West Seattle area, I would definitely recommend checking it out. They also have a big bookshelf with all of these books, and they have some hand-dyed yarns from Euphoria Fibers, from Geektastic Fibers, from Plucky Knitters, and Knitted Wit. They also had a thing of Knit Pro needles, and so if you are looking for Knit Pro needles in person, then I would also check out Seattle Yarn. And at Seattle Yarn, Sea Change Fibers was having their trunk show on Friday. I'm not sure if it was on every day, but definitely on Friday they were there. And so I bought one skein, and this is in Celio fingering, and it is a 75 Falkland Merino, 25 Mulberry silk yarn with 437 yards per 100 grams. And it is in the color Rosaria, and it's a really pretty, cool, darker pink, and it's the tonal. It's very soft, and I think the owner, the dyer behind Sea Change Fiber, said that she will be at Flock Fiber Festival as well in an even bigger booth than last year, so that's something to look out for. And she also said that she's from Oregon, but she has a long history in Seattle, and I love talking to her. She was really sweet, and so I was really happy to be able to buy a skein. And at all of the yarn stores I visited, I tried to pick up one thing because I really wanted to support these local yarn stores. However, I also had to be mindful of my budget, and so it was a difficult balance, but all of the yarn were just so beautiful, and I didn't really have other projects in mind, so it was difficult to choose, but I was really happy to be able to see all of the yarn and feel all of the yarn for myself. These are the 2 patterns that they had for Seattle Yarns. They had the gray wing cowl as well as the chromatic lace wrap. And at West Seattle, since we were there, and my husband is into gaming, he's very into Magic the Gathering. He's also into computer gaming, but right now Magic the Gathering has his heart. And so there's a game store called Meeple Games, and so we also went in there and he got a few things. My daughter got a bag of popcorn, and so we had a lot of fun just checking the area out as well. From West Seattle, we drove to Hazel Knits, and Hazel Knits is a store that I've personally been in before for the Trim the Tree socks kit from Michelle Frazetta. She's the one that designed it with Hazel Knits, and also Hazel Knits, I just love their artisan sock base, so I was really happy to go. When you go into Hazel Knits, it's a wall of color on every side of the store, and their artisan sock base comes in every single color you can imagine, and they even have some speckled and some really fun dyed yarns as well. But what I appreciate the most about it is, I think this is a new thing because I think this wasn't as big when I was there last time, is that they have options for artisan sock base as well as some other bases where you don't have to buy a full 400 yards. You can buy 50 yards or 100 yards. So they had 3 versions of mini skeins, and you can buy 50 yards for $5, 100 yards for $8.50, or 133 yards for $11. And I think it's a great way because I love making gnomes, so I think I'm going to make some gnomes from Gnomes of Grimblewood by Sarah Shira. They even had the book there to test out these colors and see what colors I want. And I think their yarn is perfect for color work, and so it's a great option that you don't need to buy a full skein and have a lot left over, but you can pick and choose exactly what colors you want. So, and I think they have these options available online as well, so I would definitely recommend checking it out. The patterns that they had available were Sunday Fun Day and Emerald City Cal. So at Hazel Knits, I did pick up some of their artisan sock, and this is in the color Land of Sweets, and this is the $5 version for 50 yards. And also I picked up 2 of the $8.50 100 yard version, and this is in the color Caterpillar, this is in the color Hippity, and this is in the color Joyride, and this is the $11 version, the 133. So all the colors are so beautiful, and I really love just the tonal bases. Their artisan sock base is thick, and so I think it's really nice to work up into either really plush socks. I loved using it in the Musselburgh hat that I knit before, and I have 2 skeins of Hazel Knit that I also bought before in a light blue and a dark blue, and so I was thinking of that when I was choosing these colors. I don't know exactly what I'm going to make yet, but I know that some of these will go into this month's gnome. And from their sale section, I also picked up this artisan sock and this was $20, and that's because it's 275 yards of sand dollar. And so I think when it's the end of a skein, they also have a sale section where some of the skeins are broken up, or some of them might be one of a kind colors. And so I am so excited to have these. I just love having the space on hand because I love using it. One other thing I wanted to mention is that Hazel Knits also has Ispi Raffia, and this yarn is only $16.99 at Hazel Knits. I think it's the same or almost the same thing as the Wool and the Gangs Raffia, but the Wool and the Gang Raffia is I think over $25. So the Ispi Raffia is a very good alternative if you are looking for raffia yarn to crochet bags, summer bags this summer. They also had some other yarns that weren't in-house that were a small section. So they also had some Shopple yarns. They had some Twisp, as well as some Queensland collection. I think they had the coastal cotton. So if it is something you're looking for and you are in the area, I would definitely recommend checking it out. And this is the sticker for Hazel Knits. So from Hazel Knits, Costco is only a 7-minute drive, and that's the local Costco that we go to. So it was perfect for us to do our weekly Costco run and just enjoy the evening with our kids, doing our errands as well as getting some Costco food. So today on the 17th, Saturday, we started off, I knew that I wanted to hit up more shops, and I knew that I wanted to hit up shops that were further out. And so my sister took my baby, my 1-year-old, so we only had our toddler with us, and my husband drove everywhere, so it was perfect for me. And the first shop we hit up was Needle and Hooks, and I wanted to go to Needle and Hooks today because I knew that Michelle Frazetta, the designer for this pattern, would be there today, and so I was able to meet her finally and take some pictures. And while we were there, we also met Alana, or Lana, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, sorry, on Instagram. I'll definitely have her handle up here. And her husband Josh is the one that won the contest for the drawing for the logo of this year's Puget Sound Yarn Tour. So he's the one that designed this. At Needle and Hooks, I purchased some yarn and I also received this stitch marker, which is so cute. And it is a copy of the pattern. And overall, it was really nice today. All the shops that I went to recognized the pattern and the t-shirt, and everybody complimented me on it. It's the most I've been complimented on anything that I've knit in person, so that was really nice. But everybody recognized it from having already gone to Needle and Hooks or just looking up the different patterns online. Needle and Hooks is further up north from where we are, but they are in a strip mall area and they are downstairs. So we went through the bookstore. There's a third price books, a big bookstore, and then we went downstairs, and right next to the library, between the library and Planet Fitness, is Needle and Hooks. And at first I was unsure of what it would be like, but when I went in, I was quite pleasantly surprised because it's super brightly lit. And the colors are so easy to see in the store. The two patterns that they had in the store were the French crew as well as the quilt block wrap. And I personally thought that the crochet pattern for the quilt block wrap was also very beautiful. It was super stunning in person, and all the people who were working at Needle and Hooks were so lovely to meet. I love how they organized everything, and the colors were so nice to look at, and they have organized all their yarns to the lightest to their heavier weights. And because they have a lot of colors of each of the brands that they carry, the organization of the rainbows were so satisfying to look at. And at Needle and Hooks, I picked up these 3 skeins, and this is Cascade Yarns in Noble Cotton, and it's in the color 61. And I'm sure they have the color number of this, or the color name of it, on the website, but it's not on the actual label. So I will put it on the screen definitely. And I love this orangey, pinky, coral, dark coral, reddish color. And so I don't think I've made anything in this color yet this year, so I'm looking forward to using this. And I made my French crew in the Cascade Yarns Ultra Pima, and I think they've moved on from the Ultra Pima to the Noble Cottons. There was a color that was very similar to this color, and I will definitely have that color on the screen as well. This is in Big Girl Pink. The other one I think was something orchid. But this is color 61 in Noble Cotton, and the Cascade yarns, especially cotton yarn, is more affordable, which is one of the things that I like about summer knits, is that they're not as taxing on our wallets. So Needle and Hooks has a lot of Cascade yarns, Barocco. They also have fiber spades, which I laughed at because one of Michelle's favorite yarn, I think, is the fiber spades Cumulus, and so I saw a lot of that as well, and I had to mention it to her on my way out. And they also have a lot of buttons. It's very well organized. I would definitely recommend, if you're in the area, to go check out the yarn store. Next, we drove east from there to go to Strikke, and Strikke is a newer yarn store in the area, and I think they popped up in the last year, a little more than a year ago, and I follow them on Instagram, and everything seemed really clean in there. It is a small store, but they do have a lot of different imported yarn. They have Julie Asselin, which I think is a Canadian brand that I haven't seen anywhere else here. They have Sandisgarn as well as Knitting for Olive, but they also have Coats & Co. They have 29 Bridges Studio, Sheepies, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not sure how you pronounce that brand, but they have the organic cotton from there, and they also have Ancient Arts. Strikke had the cutest sticker, but my daughter took it, and so I will just have a picture of what it looked like. The pattern for Strikke was a pair of socks called Sway, as well as this cute guava scarf. And I appreciated that the patterns for Strikke were all one skein projects. And from there, I bought this 29 Bridges Studio. This is made in Maryland hand-dyed yarn in the color BOC. And it is a lighter than an electric blue, but it is so pretty. It is a bright blue, and it caught my eye, and so I took it. From Strikke, we drove down south on the other side of the lake. So we went to Bellevue and we checked out Knitter Studio. And Knitter Studio is actually in the plaza that we ate before a KBBQ, I think, and it was over a year ago. So I think Knitter Studio wasn't in shop then, because Knitter Studio is also newer. I think they've only set up shop in the past year sometime. And so it was nice to go and check it out. And the Korean barbecue place that we went to was Woobling, and I thought I liked it when they first opened is when we went. But there's also a hot pot shop near called Dollar Shop, which I really like, as well as a lot of different boutiques. And that area of Bellevue is definitely busy. You can go to downtown Bellevue and definitely go to the mall, Bellevue Square, or you can do a lot of other things. There are a lot of Asian food shops, a lot of Asian restaurants that are very good and authentic in Bellevue. The two patterns that were featured at Knitter Studio were Kona Breeze and the Medallion Necklace. And the Kona Breeze is something that I definitely want to make, and it is what I got yarn for. And it's a super cool pattern because it is a tank top and you do slip stitches. And then from the slip stitches, you crochet scallops. So there are scallop edges. And I can definitely see where the owner, I think she's the designer behind it, where she got the inspiration of the scallops from, and it being named Kona. So at Knitter Studio, there is a trunk show for Tumalo fiber. And so I got this. This is dyed in Bend, Oregon. And this is the sole fingerings, 50% superwash merino, 50% cotton. And these are in the color strawberry. And it's a very pretty strawberry color. I am excited to use this, and it is super soft. So I think this will become a really nice spring summer top. The shop for Knitter Studio is so beautiful. You go in, it's decorated with a lot of florals, so a lot of greenery, and they have a lot of polka dot sheep yarn there, as well as Sweet Georgia, and they have a wall full of different brands of yarns. They have Ito there, I think they have some Noro, I think they have some fiber spades, so anything you can think of, they have a lot of different types of yarns. But I love that it was very open. There are huge floor to ceiling windows, and so it lets in a lot of light, and I really enjoyed being in that space. From their studios, we went to Peck's Noodles, which is only a 5-minute drive. It's a Korean Chinese fusion. It's called jjajangmyeon, which is like a black bean noodle, if you know. And I love going there regularly, so I'm sure the next time I check it out and Knitter Studio is open, I'll definitely visit Knitter Studio again. But if you aren't into Asian food and you are hungry, in the same plaza just right across is also a French bakery, and they seem to have really good baked goods too. My daughter got a sausage and a croissant type of baked good, and she really seemed to enjoy that. From Knitter Studio, we drove back across the lake and we went to U Village. And U Village is an outdoor mall, and there are all the different shops like Gap, Victoria's Secret, Aritzia, Mercerie, Starbucks, anything you can think of. Banana Republic, a lot of furniture shops too, like Crate and Barrel, RH, Room and Board, and more. And they have Lululemon, Sephora, like everything you can think of. And so when we went, my husband had to get a shirt for an upcoming wedding he's going to, so we went into J. Crew and picked up a couple of things there. One for my daughter, one for my husband, and then we decided to go to Acorn Street Shop since it's, I think, a 2-minute drive from U Village. These are the patterns that were available at Acorn Street Shop. It's called Breezy Tea as well as Summer Shell. And I love their logo. This logo was on their bags as well, and it's so cute. I think it's a ram or a sheep, and it has little yarn skeins as that's horn, and it's so cute. I really like it. It is a little more gothic, but I do enjoy the style. Acorn Street Shop by far had the most yarn, I think, of all the different shops. They had the most variety of brands. So they had your Knitting for Olive, they had laying yarns, they had some Madeline Tosh, they had Brooklyn Tweed. Brooklyn Tweed is on 30% sale, so if you are interested, I would definitely check out Acorn Street Shop, but I think their online ordering isn't available, so you might have to call them or visit the shop to buy your yarn. They had Woolfolk and a lot of Cascade, and they had a ton of buttons. They had so many buttons. They also had some embroidery floss as well as a whole section for knitting tools. The featured yarn was a hand-dyed yarn called Serial Knitters, and I didn't get anything from there because I didn't know what I would need from Serial Knitters. I was really interested in the Skelly, and they had a small Skelly kit that you could make, but I ultimately decided against it because I didn't know when I'd get to it. But I did pick up one thing, and it's just the Laying Yarns Yawol Superwash, and this is in the color 83.0118. And it's just a dark Kelly green. It is getting quite dark in here, but it's just a dark Kelly green 50-gram ball of sock yarn, and I wanted to try it. I've heard so many people talking about Laying Yarns sock yarns, and I wanted to really give it a shot to see what it was like. And so I'm happy that I picked this up. I think there's like a mini skein in here that has the nylon strand so that you could reinforce your heels as well. And one special mention, I think that a lot of people mention, is when you're going to Acorn Street Shop, you turn by the Queen Mary Tea Room. If you are interested in afternoon tea or high tea, Queen Mary is the place to go in Seattle. You definitely need to make an appointment, but I would check it out. And then after your tea, then you can come down and go to Acorn Street Shop. It's just almost on the same block in the corner, and do some yarn shopping there as well. and it's really getting dark in here, but I'm almost done. The last shop we decided to go to was Yarn Dragon, and by this point my husband was over it, my daughter was over it, but I really wanted to check out Yarn Dragon because Yarn Dragon is located directly in Pike Place Market. So when you go under the street sign and you go into Pike Place Market, then you just go into a lower level, turn right, and Yarn Dragon is right there just on that one lower level. And it is at such a convenient location, and being a Seattle hand dyer, I wanted to check it out so that if anybody comes to Seattle and asks for a recommendation, I wanted to see if it was a store that I would recommend. And they had a lot of beautifully dyed yarns. Of course, it was all in-house brands, so if you are interested in hand-dyed yarns on beautiful bases, I would definitely check it out. And they had a wall of accessories made with their yarns, so some gloves, hats, and so if you are interested in that, I would also check it out. I think it's really nice to have a hand dyer and a Seattle-based one in Pike Place Market. This is a sticker for Yarn Dragon, and they had the coolest stamps, so I'll show it off. It's this one. And Yarn Dragon is where I handed in my passport entry form, and so I received a little baggie of treats, and so I'm sure my daughter will take it, but I really enjoyed that they gave a little something special for people who handed in their passports there. At Yarn Dragon, I didn't really know what to get. I think I needed more time to really look at the yarn, and my husband was at Proshki buying some Proshkis, also something you have to have when you're at Pike Place. And so I was with my daughter, and it was hard to manage her while looking at yarn, so I just picked up something really quickly, and it was this. This is a pair of unicorn scissors. I've never seen these before. I'm not sure what they're called, but this is a iridescent unicorn scissors, and so I decided to get it. And I'm sure that I'll be looking through more of their Yarn Dragon yarn. So Yarn Dragon is the dyer that is also shown at Stitch Cafe that I talked about before in Capitol Hill. And so their yarn, some of their yarns, I think 2 of their bases are displayed there as well. And they're opening a factory store in July. So they're having their grand opening soon. And so that's also exciting, and that's more in the Pioneer Square area. And I am excited for this brand as a whole, and I hope that they have continued success. The patterns for Yarn Dragon I don't have on a little card to show you, so I will put it on the screen, and I'll definitely have links to it. It is a knitted shawl as well as a crocheted cowl, and I'm not sure if it's a headband or a hat, but they have one of those. So I was really happy to see that they were there, and as a treat, I got myself flowers, and it was really nice to just end the day at Pike Place Market. So those are all the shops I visited during this yarn tour, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next one. I know this year I didn't really go in with a plan of, oh, I want to make this, I want to buy this much yarn, and this is the plan that I have with it. And I think next year I do need to do better planning, and it is something I'm thinking more about for Flock Fiber Festival. I definitely want to have better planning of what I want to check out and what types of items I want to get, because at some of these stores I wanted to buy yarn, but I couldn't decide on a color, I couldn't decide on the weight of yarn, the material, and all of that. So it is something that I look forward to, and I will look forward to, and I had a lot of fun this year. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.